Hey, ¿qué tal amigos? ¿Cómo están ustedes? Gracias por estar aquí presente el día de hoy. En este video te quiero mostrar una traducción en español de ciertas preguntas que le hizo las mujeres en el Town Hall en Georgia por parte de una periodista de Fox News y este grupo de mujeres a Donald Trump. Y fue impresionante todo lo que dijo, de verdad. Pero antes de comenzar con este video, quiero compartirte este clips donde captaron en video a trabajadores del Departamento de Transporte del estado de Illinois que se rieron mientras se roban carteles electorales de Trump 2024. De esta mujer que se llama Mary, le robaron los carteles. Ahí pueden ver cómo los trabajadores del estado de Illinois se llevaron los carteles de campaña de Donald Trump, J.D. Vance. Esto lo publicó la dueña de la propiedad donde va a hacer la denuncia a las autoridades. Kamala Harris rechazó en reiteradas solicitudes de entrevista para este artículo. En cambio, Donald Trump habló sobre una visión política con un periodista de la Times durante 90 minutos en 2 entrevistas. Biden habló con Times durante un tiempo similar antes de abandonar la carrera presidencial. Resulta que Kamala Harris tuvo una entrevista el día de hoy con Fox News, pero ha declinado hacer una entrevista con la revista Times. Elon Musk dijo lo siguiente: Kamala está evitando cualquier entrevista que no publique. Se edite sus respuestas para que suenen como que si tuviera sentido. Resulta que Kamala Harris como tal está evitando hacerle entrevistas que no tengan ediciones. Ella está aceptando entrevistas con las reglas o bajo una regla a la cual se edite después la grabación para evitar cualquier situación que exponga lo mala que es Kamala Harris grabando. El presidente real Donald J. Trump, responde preguntas de las mujeres votantes de Georgia. Town Hall moderado por la periodista Harris Faulkner. Podemos ver la periodista de Fox News, donde estuvo presente con el expresidente Donald J. Trump. Ahora bien, una mujer, quiero que me prestes mucha atención porque esto me pareció muy hermoso. Y lo que dijo Donald Trump, señores, hizo algo que nadie se lo había esperado. Una mujer en el ayuntamiento de Trump estaba realmente nerviosa de tomar el micrófono y hacer una pregunta, por lo que él se aseguró de que ella estuviera cómoda. Por cierto, tienes una voz preciosa. Muchas gracias. Estoy teniendo un ataque de pánico ahora mismo. Sí, amigos. En el ayuntamiento de Trump, una mujer se sentía muy nerviosa por hablar frente al micrófono. Hay personas que le tienen pavor al micrófono o hablar en el público para hacer una pregunta. Por lo que Donald Trump se tomó el tiempo para asegurarle que todo estaba bien, que se sintiera cómoda. La mujer dijo lo siguiente que me pareció muy interesante en el tema de las tarifas.
I'm a single mom to 2 kids here, and just in 3.5 years, my child tax credit has decreased by 80%, almost.
Get what? Excuse me?
Her child tax credit has decreased by 80%.
Sorry, my child tax credit has decreased by almost 80%. Daycare, for the lowest amount, is roughly $1,400 a month for one child here.
Yeah?
Last year, I broke my neck. I almost lost.
You have a beautiful voice, by the way.
Thank you so much. I'm having a panic attack right now.
Like, don't panic. I'm right here with you.
But last year I had broken my neck and I tried applying for any kind of assistance and was denied because I did not make less than $700 a month. and I'm shaking like a freaking leaf. I cannot stop. So I could not afford daycare. I obviously was having to go through physical therapy and a lot of issues, and I'm still having issues to this day.
Right, I understand.
But what kind of realistic changes that do you think you can provide single parents, married parents, any kind of parent to just simply afford children in today's world with the way things are?
Right? It is not fair.
No.
You never heard of Ivanka, right? Ivanka. My daughter drove me crazy on this. We had the simplest, most beautiful tax. I gave you the largest tax cuts in the history of our country, okay? Larger than the Reagan cuts, larger. But my daughter, Ivanka, she said, Dad, we have to do tax credits for women, for the child tax credits. She was driving me crazy. Then I did it, and I got it just about done. Dad, you've got to double it up. I said, Ivanka, it was actually more complicated than the entire bill, but I got it done. And what we're going to do, and I'm going to, because I understand exactly what you're saying, we're going to readjust things so that it's fair to everybody, because it's really not fair to everybody. But we have a lot, and we're going up higher, but we're also going to readjust, because you have to make some readjustments. It's unfair to some people, and we're not going to have that. But she was the one that got it started. Those were our credits. Those were not the Democrat credits. A lot of Republicans said, rightfully, don't do it because we never get credit for that. We're not known for that. But the truth is, I wanted to put it all in the form of the tax cut. So I got the maximum tax cut, but we're also bringing down the taxes for companies and for people. We're bringing it down to 15%. And for companies, only if you make your product, build your product in the USA. Otherwise, you don't get it. So
Entonces, ¿qué quiere decir esto? Donald Trump está incentivando a las empresas y a las personas para trabajar en Estados Unidos y fabricar en Estados Unidos. Si fabricas en los Estados Unidos, obtendrás este beneficio de reducción del 15%. También Donald Trump quiere implementar una deducción de los taxes para las madres solteras como ella, a la cual ha sido afectada por el tema del cuidado de sus hijos. Y Donald Trump quiere implementar este plan para las madres solteras que no tienen a un esposo que la ayude. Donald Trump, tenemos una enorme riqueza en este país, pero está bajo nuestros pies. Tenemos una enorme riqueza en este país. Se llama oro líquido y vamos a reducir sus costes de energía. En eso, todo seguirá su ejemplo. También vamos a hacer posible que las empresas vuelvan a venir a nuestro país. Tenemos una tasa impositiva que los va a atraer y los vamos a proteger con aranceles para que puedan ganar dinero y para que no les roben. Vamos a tener empleos que batirán récord. Tuvimos la mayor economía en la historia de nuestro país. Quiero que escuches esto.
Your first name, please, and tell us your hometown.
My name is Lisa, and I live in the city of Milton. First of all, welcome back to Georgia, President Trump.
Thank you very much.
Americans are concerned about the state of our economy. Democrats argue that your policies favor the wealthy, especially through tax cuts for billionaires, while the middle class continues to struggle these last 3.5 years under the Biden-Harris administration. Could you outline your plans to revitalize the economy again as president and policies that specifically support the middle class when reelected?
Sure. Thank you very much. Great question. And sort of an easy question for me to answer because we have tremendous wealth in this country, but it's under our feet. It's called liquid gold. And we're going to bring down your energy costs, and with that, everything's going to follow. We're also going to make it possible for companies to come into our country again. We've lost so many businesses. If you're in furniture making, like in North Carolina, they're flocking out of our country because we have politicians that don't know what to do. We're bringing them all back. We have a tax rate that's going to lure them, and we're going to protect them with tariffs so they can make money and so they don't get stolen. But we're going to have record-setting jobs. And just to know, the advantage I have is that I've done it. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We had never had an economy. And remember this, we also had the safest border in the history of our country.
La periodista Harris dice lo siguiente. Kamala ha dicho que usted sonaba desquiciado y que el poder sin control está en nuestro futuro. El presidente Trump dice, son un partido de frases hechas y es el enemigo interno. Son muy peligrosos. Estas personas son bastante peligrosas.
Kamala Harris has said you sounded unhinged and unchecked power is in our future. What do you say about that?
I thought it was a nice presentation. I wasn't unhinged. You know what they are? They're a party of sound bites. Somebody asked me, can they be brought together? It was I never thought, really, I wasn't thinking like they could, because they're very, very different. And it is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. They're Marxists and communists and fascists, and they're sick. I use a guy like Adam Schiff because they made up the Russia hoax. It took 2 years to solve the problem. Absolutely nothing was done wrong, et cetera, et cetera. They're dangerous for our country. We have China, we have Russia, we have all these countries. If you have a smart president, they can all be handled. The more difficult are, the Pelosi's, these people, they're so sick and they're so evil. If they would spend their time trying to make America great again, it would be so easy to make this country great. But when I heard about that, they were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. But think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
All right.
They're the threat to democracy.
This is a question.
I'm glad I got that out.
Este veterano sabe más de política exterior que el propio Joe Biden y Kamala Harris juntos. Te amo, escribe mi política exterior, por favor. En el ayuntamiento de la periodista, ella la veterana, le preguntó a Donald J. Trump cómo haría para despertar a los militares y restablecer la paz en el mundo poniendo a Estados Unidos primero. Esto tiene que ver con la agenda woke del DATE, diversidad, equidad e inclusión, que está utilizando el Departamento de Defensa, estos monstruos generales, para despedir a cualquier militar que se oponga a la agenda DATE. Diversidad, equidad e inclusión. Mira esto.
Mr. President, thank you for being here today. I want to thank you for coming into a room full of women that the current administration would consider domestic terrorists. But you're here with us. So thank you.
That is true, by the way.
My name's Alicia, and I live in the infamous Fulton County. I'm a wife and a mom, but I'm also a fourth-generation Army veteran.
Good.
So my question for you today is this. How do we restore peace in the world through American strength while also putting America first here at home?
Right.
I'm concerned that we're still stationed and deployed in Germany, Korea, Japan, NATO, all over the Middle East defending other countries, but we've never been weaker globally or here at home. So how do we get back to a position of strength without having to be the world's police force? And if I may, sir, as a West Point grad, I'd also like to ask that as you work to de-woke our military, that you pay careful attention to the generals that you put in charge at our academies and our OTC programs and the curriculum there.
Wow. I love you. Write my foreign policy, please, because what you just I was bringing troops back home. I got out of Syria. I defeated ISIS because it was the only one. I started no new wars, as you know. For 79 years, this had not happened. No new wars. I finished off ISIS. It was supposed to take 5 years. I did it in a month and a half. And by the way, we have a great military. When I said do it, they did it. 5 years. You know why 5 years? Because the Washington generals, the guys you see on television, they're terrible. They're terrible. The real generals out in these guys are unbelievable. The job they did on ISIS, unbelievable. Okay. So, and you're right about the academies too. It's all going to be changed. We don't have a woke military. We have a couple of woke guys on the top, a few woke people. When I really got to know them during the fight on ISIS, which we won, our military is great. You could put these guys in a cage and scream woke at them for 2 years and let them out, and they're coming out fighting. They're never going woke. They're never going woke. Don't worry about it. But I love the way you phrased that question. It's got to be America first, and we're going to help people. But there's no reason for us to have 60,000 soldiers in this country, 40,000 soldiers, and we never get paid. We cannot be taken advantage of any longer in trade, in the military. And I love the way you phrased that question. Thank you.
Ahora bien, me gustaría saber cómo te pareció este video. ¿Te gustó mucho? Déjame tu comentario. ¿Qué piensas tú de este video? Vamos a compartirlo en las redes sociales para que las personas se puedan enterar de este tipo de información. Y no olvides suscribirte a este canal para que estés al tanto y para que recibas este tipo de contenido de lo que está pasando realmente en los Estados Unidos. Nos vemos, amigos, en unas horas con un siguiente episodio para todos ustedes. Hasta luego, cuídense mucho.